Welcome to the Lakers Zone. My name is Jay McCaskey, and I'll be your host this season for Lakers Zone. Clayton State fans, for this segment of Lakers Zone, I'll be speaking with Coach Cox. He's in his 9th season here at Clayton State and the head women's basketball coach. Coach, you just started off the season. Talk about how the preseason practices went and how the girls got along and really got moving to get going.
Well, preseason is it's not always the most fun time of year for our players. You know, it's the time that we learn how to work hard, and there's a lot of running and a lot of strength training, and it's a lot of work. It really is. So, but when you're working hard together, that absolutely is a time where teams start to come together, and you know, we had a lot of, you know, we have about half and half mixture this year of returning players and new players. So it's always very important that they do blend correctly, and I feel like that we made good strides there. You know, was I totally pleased with where we were conditioning-wise by the end of it? No, but our preseason conditioning program kind of extended into the practice season, if you will, and that was a commitment that we made at the beginning of the year, that we were not going to compromise on our conditioning standards, and well, we're getting there, and I think this past weekend was an indication of the price that we've paid there, and so overall, I couldn't be happier with this bunch.
Okay, you know, starting with your exhibition, you guys had a couple of close games, and I know the unit was trying to build cohesiveness and just learning to play with each other. So you went into the weekend up to Jackson, Tennessee. You started off with Delta State. How do you guys feel like you did? Because you won by 17 points, but kind of a blowout win. How you feel like the girls did?
Well, they did great, and you know, especially you mentioned the 2 exhibition games. Those ended up, as well as our alumni game, ended up being real challenges for us. I mean, I really give Emory University and Southern Polytech a lot of credit, as well as our alumni, for the way they prepared for us. So they really challenged us, and you know, looking at those scores and the way we struggled to even get wins in those exhibitions games, that, you know, if you look at our past history when we've played exhibition games against Division III teams or NAIA teams, you know, we usually come away with those, you know, with much easier wins than what we did this year. So, yeah, I mean, was there some cause for concern? Absolutely. But we remember. I think you really have to. I think history is so important. I love to read history and study history, and I know kids don't always like it in school, but you learn from it. And what we did is we looked back to last year and how we struggled at the beginning of the year after losing to Shemia Tillman and Brianna Ford and LaTonda Bruce, you know, key players in that national championship run, and how, you know, even though Brittany Hall and Tanisha Woodard, Genesis Kelly, those are great players, they still had to learn a new role. And we struggled a little bit at the beginning of last year. And the same thing happened in those exhibitions. We were, you know, Jamaica Griggs, Key Dixon, Shea Jackson, now it's their turn to be the one. And when that pressure is on you to be the one, to make plays down the stretch, and everybody's looking to you now to get it done, it's tough. It's a new role. And it took us a minute to develop some confidence in ourselves, both individually and as a team. Know who our people were that were going to step up and make plays for us, and who was going to defend down the stretch when things got tough. And I'll be honest with you, I was concerned going into Jackson, Tennessee about us, but they rose to the occasion. I told them after the Union game, I don't think I've ever been prouder of a bunch. And we've had a lot of adversity too this year already. Not the least of which was losing one of our starters 3 minutes into the game in the Union game in Jackson. that hurts. I mean, Key Dixon's probably out for the year, but but we overcame that, you know, and still got a 20-point win against a real good team. I mean, Union University, you may never have heard of it, but all they've done is win 5 national championships in the last 10 years, and at the NAIA level. And I don't care what level you're on, when you're having that kind of success. I mean, their record in the last 20 years is like 400 and something and 40. You know, it's like a 90% win record. And at home is even higher than that. So it was a real tough environment for us, and our kids hung together, really supported one another, really defended hard. I think the thing that I'm most pleased with right now is the way we're guarding. You know, we're making some things happen in the press, but especially we're sitting down in the half court, really guarding people, defending the defensive boards, and we really came together defensively down there.
And against Delta State, you guys shot 46%, great percentage from the field, but you forced 26 turnovers. That says a lot about your defense and how well they get in those passing lanes.
Well, it does, and the reason we shot 46% is because on 26 turnovers, you're going to shoot some layups. And we don't make all our layups right now. It's one of the things that we're kind of frustrated with. I thought we should have shot 60% in that game, but because we didn't shoot it particularly well from behind the arc, and we missed some easy shots. But we like you said, we still shot 46%. At the end of the day, that's good enough to get a win.
Now, you talked about Key Dixon and her injury and maybe being out for the year. How does that change, you know, especially with Griggs? She's been coming off the bench. Does that move her now into the starting lineup, or does that force you to say, you know what, I like her scoring punch off the bench. Let me keep her going off the bench and maybe insert one of my newcomers to say, hey, I'm trusting you now in the lineup to make things happen?
Well, that's a very astute question. Yeah, it's something that we've struggled with ever since Mimi Griggs has been here. She's certainly good enough to be a starter for us. She was her first year with us. She was all Elite 8 tournament off the bench. Last year she was all Peach Belt Conference off the bench. Has had many opportunities to start for us. Even this year, first exhibition game, I'm pretty sure she started for us. But I just realized that her best, you know, asset is coming off our bench, because she brings us that energy and she seems to play better. It's just what works for us. And Mimi has such a great attitude towards it. The thing that I hate the most about it is that when we have a home game right here, you know, she deserves to have her name called out in the starting lineup, you know, here in her hometown, you know. But she sacrifices that because she knows what her role is on the team and what is best for us to win games. And I really appreciate her for that. So yeah, it's you know, we're starting, you know, 2 newcomers on the perimeter right now, and they're kind of learning on the fly. So, but it's also comforting to know that even if we do get off to a sluggish start, we got Mimi Griggs coming in to save the day, if you will.
And how to, you know, and talk in your bench, talk about Jessica Covington and Armstrong. They both come in and with Covington rebounding, passing lane, just different intensity. With Armstrong, she's like a silent killer. You know, she comes in and she may knock down a shot here, and the next thing you know, she's got 15 points easy. How do they transition or fit into what Clayton State wants to do going forward?
Well, Jessica, first of all, you know, Jessica was a freshman for us last year, and I think, you know, of all of our returning players, she's the one that worked the hardest. And I, you know, when I say that, I immediately think of Shay Jackson also, because she really worked hard this summer too. But Jessica really worked on her perimeter skills. You know, she played the post for us last year. She's one of those players that she's very athletic, not a true post player, needed to work on some things perimeter skill-wise, and she really did that over the summer. And it's just been, you know, she's probably our most improved player. And she, like you said, she's doing a lot of little things coming off the bench. She's rebounding, she's defending. She's making a big shot here and there. So yeah, and then Arkia Armstrong. She's a newcomer, but what I love about her is she doesn't hesitate to shoot it, and she's not shy. And we needed that. We needed, as our returners were struggling with roles and whatnot. I mean, it really helped us with her coming off the bench with some instant offense there. Mimi kind of comes off with energy, and Arkia, like you said, she's kind of the assassin. She's just gonna hit that big shot when you least expect it. Has a real quick release on her shot, has no conscience, and I'm loving it.
That's great, Coach. Going forward, guys have Newberry. Mm-hmm. Newberry has won 3 games against other Peach Belt Conference opponents, and they're playing really well. Yeah. They did lose to Francis Marion. They have a 42-game, I guess, home winning streak.
Is that right?
Talk about going.
Wish you hadn't told me that.
Going into Newberry, I know defense has always been the key, and that's been the foundation for Clayton State. But what different things can the team bring this year to go into Newberry and get a victory?
Well, first of all, there's no doubt in my mind that that's going to be a real difficult win. I already knew. I didn't know the streak, but I already knew that was a tough place to play. We've actually never played there in the history of this program. They've played here a couple of times. They're extremely well coached. They have one of the best post players in the country. What do we have to do? We got to go in there and we got to stay together. We have to go in there and we really have to defend. Our post players are going to really have to defend. We're going to have to help our post players because the girl's really good. Very big, and when she catches it, she knows how to score. But we got to be who we are. We got to go in there and we've got to, get the.
You have the Lockshop Classic coming home. Got some good teams coming in. What's it going to take to defend the home court?
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank the Lockshop for sponsoring that classic for us, and we love all their stuff and hope that works out to their benefit as well, and encourage everybody to do their Christmas shopping at the Lockshop on campus here, our campus bookstore. They got a lot of great gear over there. But defending the home court has an even more special meaning this year because it's brand new, and it's we'll always have a special place in our heart for that old parquet. Mm-hmm. It was special, and we all had our special moments and special spots on that floor. But we are really looking forward to establishing a new tradition on this court. It's still the building. It's still special, especially when we put a lot of people in here. Hint, hint. It would be really great if we could pack the house, and because boy, when we have our student section filled, and we've got our community here supporting us, man, it just infuses some energy into us and makes it that much easier for us. So hopefully all together we can we can defend it and be successful in our first homestand here.
Okay, great, Coach. This has been Jay McCaskey along with head coach Dennis Cox for your Lakers Zone.